here with my good friend Mark Chaffee from Taco. Mark, I know you got a lot of good things going on here at Taco. Give me a brief overview of what you guys are doing this year.
Well, it's exciting, it's fabulous. We love New York City. The crowds are packing the hallways. The energy at the show is absolutely fabulous. And deservedly so. We got a lot of great stuff going on. Our theme this year is Be Smart, E-Smart. And what does that mean, E-Smart? Well, E-Smart is our tag, our way of identifying our most resource-saving products. So be it anything that saves energy, electricity, or most importantly, money.
So I know you got a lot of energy efficient products that we're going to see here in a minute. We're using a lot of them. Looking forward to seeing what you have on the table this year.
It is very exciting, and we really have energy efficient products that span our complete range, from small hot water recirculating pumps that can save a homeowner tens of thousands of gallons of water, all the way up to our largest commercial pumps and some really, really innovative new systems and system control that nobody else in this industry is doing. So that's what you have to look forward to during our tour.
Well, Mark, you know I'm a contractor, and my clients are asking me about the new recirc pump feature. So I'm interested in seeing what you guys have here.
Yeah, that's a great way of delivering efficiency. I know in my own home, I don't like picking on my wife, but sometimes, you know that little H that's on the faucet?
Yes.
You know, she'll turn that, and now actually hot water comes out of it.
Instantly.
Instantly, right there.
No waiting.
No waiting, and she's just, she thinks I'm just I don't know. I walk a little taller, we you know, things work out much better at home because now she can go in the evening, turn that faucet on, have hot water there, get ready for bed, take her makeup off. It's really that convenience. And the other result is I'm saving about 12,000 gallons of water from just wasting down the drain, so being much greener even in my own home.
Well, Mark, why don't we take a look around at some of these new products? I'm excited.
That's great. All right, let's go have a look at the booth.
Mark, I see you got several different recirc products here. Tell me what you have.
Well, we do have a complete line, and it really depends what you're looking for and what kind of application you have. Mm-hmm. So in terms of application, as you know, sometimes there is a hot water return line from that furthest fixture back to the water heater, and sometimes that line just terminates at that master bedroom at the end of the house. So what we have is we have products to handle both applications.
Right. This is a product I've put in dozens upon dozens, the old 006B bronze. But then we started using this product about 3 or 4 months ago. Tell me about this product. This is very special.
It really is special. You know, we've gone from the traditional timer, aquastat, where you have all the dip switching and setting, and now what we have is we have the Smart Plus. And what the Smart Plus does is it actually learns the water usage of the homeowner. So over a 7-day period, it will record all of the water usage patterns. When does the faucet come on? When do you take a shower? When do you do the dishes? All of that side of it. And it'll record all of those usages. And then the following week, it will repeat that pattern. So, like I get up very consistently every morning, I get up, I take a shower pretty much at the same time. Now I have hot water at that faucet on my own schedule. And when I don't need hot water, it's not running. So It saves a tremendous amount of electricity and the water savings of just having hot water recirc.
Mark, with my eyesight, I always had a hard time setting these just right. This makes it easy. Just put the sensor on the supply coming out of it, and that's it. The pump's smart, and it learns the rest. Is that correct?
That's correct. So the installation is very simple. No resetting, no dip switches, no timers, no setback for daylight savings time. All you do, plumb it in, put the sensor in, and it's smart enough to learn the system.
Mark, one thing we're dealing with is the new no lead mandate that went into effect January 4th. Are the Taco products compliant with that mandate?
Yes, we've been compliant for a couple of years now. Right. So since about 2 years ago, we went low lead, or to meet the no lead requirement on all the circulators that are bronze. But the majority of the circulators, we moved over to stainless steel, especially on anything that's flanged. And that provided us to be compliant. And so nobody out in the field, wholesalers downline, really have any concern about Taco products because we were ready a couple of years ago.
So you're ahead of the game. There's no danger of me, the contractor, putting in a non-compliant product. That's good
right.
news.
Not of a Taco product. And we will take a look at some of those products that need to be compliant, including our new mixing valve, our whole new mixing valve line that's all low lead and compliant too.
Mark, the Smart Plus is a great solution if you have a dedicated recirc line. What happens if you don't in an existing house?
Well, there's certainly a lot of those applications that are out there where they just plumb the hot water to that last fixture, be it a master bath, a kitchen. So what we have for those applications is we have our on-command system. And what that does is it comes with all of the piping in one kit that hooks up at that last fixture and uses the cold water line that's already there as a return back to the water heater.
Gotcha.
And it does work on command. So what you need is you need some sort of signal to trigger it. Most used is a motion sensor. So for instance, in my house, this is a system I have because I wasn't able to run a return line from my last fixture back to the water heater. So I put an on command in. What I also did was put a motion sensor in the bathroom. I walk into the bathroom, the pump very quickly turns on, moves the hot water from the water heater to my master bath, and then when the hot water gets there, it has a built-in temperature sensor that shuts off. So it runs for a very, very short period of time, saving about 94% of the electricity of a typical recirc pump, but I get hot water when I want it, only when I need it. So it's definitely our greenest of products too.
Mark, what is that sensor connected? Is it wired back to the pump? Is it wired to a control panel? How does that work? How does that sensor work?
The motion sensor wires directly to the pump, and you could also have a push button sensor or a remote sensor. Say you had multiple bathrooms, you don't need a pump on every single bathroom. You just need it at the furthest fixture, and then you could put a basically it's a doorbell button or a wireless doorbell button that you can put it at the other bathrooms throughout the house. So if you go into that downstairs bathroom, press that button, it's going to get hot water there even quicker, but when it gets to the end of the line, it knows it and shuts off.
Great.
So it's great for single fixtures or multiple fixtures along the same line.
That sounds like a great solution to a common problem we see out in the field.
Oh, it absolutely is. And going back to my wife, she's so happy having hot water at the faucet when she wants it.
Great, I'll have to give it a try. Mark, I see you got a lot of variable speed and variable DT products here. Let's talk about them.
Okay. Well, what we're really trying to do is show the breadth of line of pumping solutions, certainly on a residential or even into that light commercial range of pumps. All these circulators are wet rotor design. So we go from the very classic double O circulators to 3-speed, to the double O with variable speed control, to our yellow friend here, our Bumblebee, all the way up to the Viridian. So it's really a complete range of flow performance, features, and flexibility for the type of jobs that you're putting in.
Mark, we're using a lot of these products on our jobs, and one of my technicians asked me the other day, when do I use variable speed Delta T? When do I use ECM? So let's talk about that. When is variable speed Delta T the best solution to a job?
With Delta T, what it really comes down to, it comes down to optimizing the heat delivery out into a building. So what I say is if you have a thermostat on the wall, use Delta T. That's about as the basics of what I can boil it down to. So if you're doing zone control, what we'd really like to do is put in the highest efficient boilers, create every BTU out of that boiler in the most efficient manner, because that's really where you're spending most of your money, be it oil or gas, electric, whatever your fuel source is. But when you create those BTUs in the most efficient manner, let's use them most efficiently out in the system.
So it sounds like Delta T is a great solution for the way we install hydronic systems here in North America.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. It fits the North American market. We are a North American company. We make all of these products in Cranston, Rhode Island, and work with contractors like yourself to really optimize that system.
Right.
And when it comes to that Delta T operation, we really want to go ahead. When you design a system, you take the time to go ahead and design it properly. What size boiler? What size tubing? How much tubing are you putting in? What type of radiation you're doing? And now what you can do is you can take a product like a Bumblebee and say, okay, if I'm designing around a 20-degree delta out into the space, let me go ahead and run. So every BTU I put out in that space, I'm using in the most efficient manner, and it's going to automatically adjust to weather conditions like this big snowy day we're having,
Right.
or maybe in the springtime,
Sure.
where you have a swing shoulder season and it might slow down, but you're always delivering that optimal comfort to that space, no matter the time of year or conditions.
That makes sense to me. Mark, let's talk about motor technology. Here you have your traditional PSC motor, and here you've got a couple of products with ECM motors. Can we talk about those, what the differences are between and when this is a good application or when this is a good application?
From an application for an ECM motor, what you're really just talking about is it just takes less power, fewer watts to get the same work out of it. So it's a different style technology. It's not anything new. We've been seeing it, even in our own industry, certainly in fan motors for years and years
20
and years.
years at least.
At least at
Yeah.
this time. So it's certainly new to the circulator market, and the main driving force behind that has been the cost. Because what you need with an ECM motor is you need electronics. You need the electronics on there to be able to drive that motor.
Right.
So instead of just creating electrical field and having the rotor spin to a certain speed in it, now you have a lot of electronics, like the Viridian. This whole back section is electronics,
Sure.
just to effectively control that motor.
Does water quality become an issue when you're using permanent magnet motors as opposed to PSC motors, or is it the same with both?
It's still a little early to tell. It's a new technology in our marketplace, but what we are doing is we see a lot of systems with a lot of black iron oxide, a lot of buildup. We've seen it for years and years, even on the traditional wet rotor circulators. So now what you're doing is you're taking a very powerful magnet and putting it into the system. So I always recommend that proper water conditioning, control, using some of our air dirt separators,
Right.
proper system design is going to make a big difference in the life of an ECM circulator.
So Mark, let's talk about one of my favorite pumps, the Viridian. I've got about 15 of these installed in the field, and it's one of my favorite pumps.
Yeah, you've really done some great jobs with these, especially on the geothermal side of things, right?
We've been using this pump on our geo fields, on the loop field. In the past, we'd have multiple pumps or have bypass valves, but keep in mind on some of my projects, I might have 7, 8, 10, 19 geo units in one house, one flow pump. So this pump can match the peak flow when I need it. It can ramp down when I don't need peak flow or anywhere in between. I can also combine them with a lead lag, so if one pump fails, the second one comes online automatically. Also rotates it so I have even wear on two pumps. On my jobs, I can't afford not having heat or not having cooling. We need a backup plan, and this pump does it. When we're commissioning the job, I can plug my laptop right into the computer board in here and see in real time what this pump's doing, what the head loss is, what the flow rate is, exactly, to see if it matches up with my design. Are we underflow? Are we overflow? Do we need to balance it? This is truly a smart pump and one that we really like.
And it really has been great in the field. People have been using it for that exact type of application, and really a wide range of applications. But you talked about plugging into it to know exactly what the pump is doing, where it's operating, because you could put the best design out there in the world, but once you pipe it all in, you're not going to be absolutely precise. Your head you might have a little greater resistance, a little less resistance, but now you can tell exactly what's going on. And not only can you tell what's going on, but from an energy standpoint, it has accumulated runtime and wattage use. So you can very quickly see how much power is this actually using. And especially if you're doing a retrofit where you had an old 1600, 1900, one of the bigger pumps in there that you're doing a retrofit, you can very quickly see the energy savings. And most of the jobs that we put these in on and have done all the monitoring and control, we're seeing at least 60% energy savings by putting in these style pumps. And when you get up into this range and larger, into some of the bigger Viridians where you're going up to a maximum of 250 GPM, that's really that's money. That's money in the bank. That's some real savings.
Absolutely. I like how you've separated the electronics from the volute. So now water temperature, whether it be chilled water, whether it be geo water, whether it be hot water, is no longer going to affect the electronics. You've isolated the two. Yeah. Temperature doesn't affect it from the volute. Good feature.
It's been a great product, and it's being used in more and more applications. It's probably our fastest growing product at this point.
Mark, we use the same concept but on a smaller scale with the Bumblebee on our smaller residential projects. In the past, where we might have put 2 or 3 pumps, or 4 pumps, or 5 pumps, we'll put in one Bumblebee, 4 or 5 Century zone valves, no bypass, and let this device ramp up or ramp down as necessary, depending on how many zones are calling.
And that really is the perfect combination. When we're talking about those systems, and you used to picture and you'd have 10, 15 pumps all in a row, and every single zone had a pump. Well, even on a 00 circulator, a standard circulator, you might be drawing 75 watts. If you go to a Bumblebee, that gets reduced down to about a 45 watt maximum. But if you could take that and replace it with a Zone Century zone valve that's drawing 1.4 watts, you can get some substantial energy savings, not by going to a more efficient circulator, but by thinking bigger, thinking about that whole system, we're going, wait, I can have one circulator, 4 zone valves, and now I've eliminated a couple hundred watts out of the system and getting the exact same performance
Exactly.
And efficiency out of the system.
2 other features we really like are the integral check valve. I don't need a separate check valve downstream, and the rotating flange. Makes it nice to install. Makes it a flexible product to install.
Yeah, and certainly you do need to put the sensors on.
Yep.
So you need one on the supply, one on the return, but it's easy to wire, and then plug right into the circulator. So it really is a convenient pump, and you get a nice digital display on the back side, so you know your watt usage, and you know an estimate of system flow.
So it's functional and it's good looking as well. What's not to like?
I don't know. It makes a great complement to the entire line of Taco circulators. So when it comes to different jobs, different applications, you really have your full choice to match that application for optimum efficiency and flow delivery.
Okay, we're back with Mark Chaffee from Taco. We're here to talk about some of their fabricated products that are produced in their Fall River, Massachusetts facility. Mark?
So the Fall River facility is a complete ASME certified manufacturing facility. So everything that comes out of there is custom built, custom fabricated, and meets the ASME code. So what we're standing in front of here is our 4900 air separator, and not only an air separator, but an air and dirt separator option at this time. All built around the patented Paul ring process, which is really the most efficient way to separate air from water and also do dirt separation at the same time.
Let's talk about that, because I'm familiar with air separators, not as familiar with dirt separators. I need to know more about the Paul rings. How does that work?
Well, the Paul rings give you an enormous amount of surface area. So as small bubbles, micro bubbles come through the system, what they need to do is they need to adhere to something. And they adhere to the Paul rings, and it's a very disruptive process. So as those micro bubbles adhere to the actual stainless steel Paul rings, they combine together, get enough mass, and then going to be able to be exited out of the system through a very standard high vent.
What about pressure drop? Is that going to cause me to use a bigger pump or a higher head pump? What's the pressure drop through that system?
The pressure drop isn't bad. It does add some pressure, but I've never run across a case where I've needed to upsize a pump for that system. But so it can be somewhat of a trade-off, but in today's systems, we're finding them just dirtier and dirtier, especially before you were talking about some of the geo systems that you were getting into with Viridian pumps. That's a tough application where dirt separation comes in very handy.
Well, of course, we've used air separators for years and years, but dirt separators are relatively new to us. As we're doing these geo projects, dirt, sand, clay, and grit gets into the tubing as they're joining it out in the field.
Yep.
That works into the system, and what does that do to the inside of a pump? It's like sandpaper to a pump, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So how does this work to get that out?
Yeah. Again, just like it does with the air, it does with the dirt. So the dirt is going to come through that system, hit all those Paul rings, be separated, and instead of going up, it goes down. And then we just have the regular blow-down valves that you can put onto that system. And with a custom fabrication, going all the way up standard to 16-inch, and then custom all the way up 24, 36-inch, we've made some enormous units of these going into commercial, industrial, and process work throughout the world.
And the key point that I heard earlier is that you actually fabricate these in your own facility. These are not brought in offshore or as a third-party facility. TACO actually manufactures these. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Right in Fall River, Massachusetts, we have just over 100 people that work down into that factory, and it's an absolute world-class manufacturing facility using all state-of-the-art welding techniques, robots, testing facilities, and the engineering that goes along with it to design these products, and then also do a lot of custom work. We've gotten into a lot of work with hydraulic separators, our 5900 flex balance, basically large hydraulic separators. So when you need to go ahead and separate the load from the system in commercial buildings, we can do that up into very large sizes too.
Well, let's talk about that, because I'm seeing that spec more and more for our projects. And a hydraulic separator is very similar to the 4900, but it's got 4 ports instead of 2. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you're seeing more and more of that. You're seeing a greater need for that. Is that?
We're seeing a greater need, especially when we're getting into higher efficiency boilers, multi-boiler combinations, and just the mentality for the design using that separation of the circuitry with a loop compared to the boiler loop is becoming more popular as a design methodology.
Right. I see you've designed these for service, where they're actually, the 2 halves are bolted together, so you can break them apart, clean them out, flush them out, bolt them back together. Is that what the design purpose?
Absolutely. We have you in mind. It's got to be easy. It's got to be convenient. It's all stainless steel. It's all inside this the cage. So what you can do is just easily hook up to the top of it, pull it out, spray it down, flush it down. Blow it out the bottom, and you can be up, back and running. So if you have a normal service procedure, you can go ahead and do that. A lot of times we find that in commercial industrial applications. For the most of the time, that blowdown valve is enough. But if you get up into heavy industrial type, you can get in there very easily and service it.
Mark, you've got a plate and frame heat exchanger here. Let's talk about that. Where do you make these things?
Well, this is another product that we make down in our Fall River Fabricated Products division. We've been making them for a couple of years now, and what's really nice is, just like what we talked about with the 4900, the 5900, these are custom fabricated plate and frame heat exchangers. So we can put together a complete system, including the plate and frames. So we do all of the design, engineering, building, up to, again, very large sizes to meet the requirements of any commercial industrial job.
So I send you the specs, you make it to order. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There you go. I like that. I'm here with Brian Payne with TACO. Brian, you got some exciting new products that I've never seen before. Tell me what you got here.
Dan, it's exciting. What we've got is we have the TACO, SKS, and SKV self-sensing product line. The best way to explain this product and the innovation is to describe what's currently being done in the industry. What's currently being done in the industry before this was introduced is if somebody wanted to put in a pump and control the variable speed drive, they would put in a sensor, they would wire thousands of feet of wiring, they'd put a PLC in, they would also have to hire the people to put that in. They would then also balance this pump with a balancing contractor and put false head in. This technology replaces all of that. So now, in one package, you can have your pump balanced and have it track changes in system demand. As the building load changes, this pump will modulate all on its own to track system building loads. So the value proposition here is tremendous.
So it's all put together, the VFD drive, the control, the pump. It's now all one package rather than separate assemblies.
That is correct. The way that it does it, and it's probably the biggest question that we get, is how does it know if you're replacing sensors and you're replacing a PLC? The technology that's inside our drive is you have the ability to have electrical and pump data reside in the same place. So now this drive fully understands the pump curve. It knows that if it has so many amps at such and such speed, it also knows what flow and head it is. This now is a digital flow meter and a pressure sensor for your hydronic system.
Where are you picking up this dashboard from? Are you plugging that directly into the drive, into a separate control? Where are you seeing this pump flow and head curve?
This display is where we can integrate this with the building management system. The ProView, iWorks ProView dashboard allows this to be integrated, particularly like in a legacy situation. We're in so many hospitals and so many universities that we now have a small box that lets the legacy controls contractor integrate this into their platform seamlessly, very easily, and much less expensively than they've had to before.
Can you also integrate this with your iWorks
Absolutely.
controls?
Absolutely. So it can be in a iWorks system, or it can be in a system that doesn't have iWorks. So it can go either way. The other product that's being referenced here is ProBalance. And so you have a pump and a drive combination, which is one product, but ProBalance is another product, and that is the ability that in an automated fashion, with a touch of one button, you can say what flow you want this pump to generate. If you want it to do 1,000 GPM, you press the automatic button, and it will automatically seek to pump 1,000 GPM in your system, and it'll be automatically balanced.
Sounds like a nice product. Is this display operational right now? This is physically running.
Absolutely. This is a working hydronic system. It's full of water. You can hear it running, and we've been venting air up there. It's a true blue hydronic system, and we can, if you'd like to make an adjustment, a small adjustment, you can actually see this track system.
Let's see what happens here, Brian. There we go. See that yellow line moving? It's moving to the left.
So Dan, as you throttle that down to represent a drop in building demand, you'll see this track down.
You can hear the difference as well. And I can say that it's quiet, it's vibration free. This is a nice product. Brian, I'm hearing a lot about chilled beam. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's a hot topic and it's a new trend. Tell me about it.
Dan, you're right. It's a very fast-growing part of our industry. It's one of the few systems that actually helps construction teams meet new LEED standards. So the energy efficiency of this entire package can help people meet the energy thresholds that's being demanded by LEED. There's a couple of components here: the chill beam itself, the controls that we offer, and then the hydronic package that we offer. We integrate our controls, the iWorks controls, in with our low flow chill beam mixing blocks, and these allow the hydronic system to match the demand of the chilled beam without going over dew point. So many chilled beam systems are out there, and what they'll try to do traditionally is run a low temp chilled water system for like their makeup air units, and run a higher temp chilled water system for the chilled beams. What this package does, integrated with our controls, is takes those two systems, and you can run one low temp chilled water system now, and this will mix that temperature and keep this beam above dew point.
Sure. So this is your chilled water pipe here, mixes here, and you're above dew point here.
That is correct.
Right.
And this controller will monitor it all, as well as do engineered ventilation. So it'll control your DOAS, and it'll control your makeup air, so that all of this is integrated and works seamlessly and helps people get chilled beams for a price point that they've not been able to get before.
Brian, this is all obviously Taco products. This is a third party. Your product will work with anybody's chilled beam. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. And we've got a number of jobs out there. We've got them in Florida, we've got them in Canada, we've got them in New England, and we've worked with all the different manufacturers from Dedanco, Trox, Swagon. So we are quite comfortable working with all the manufacturers.
And so I understand it. What makes it more efficient? Is it the higher water temperature? Is it the fact that there's no fan or blower motor in here? What makes this more efficient?
Great question. The way that it's more efficient is it uses hydronics predominantly to take care of the room load.
Right.
We do it with less air, and if you move less air in a building, you end up ultimately costing less.
Certainly. A blower motor might draw 600 to 800 watts, maybe 1,000 watts. This draws a fraction of that.
That is correct.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
0.7 amps.
Thank you, Brian.
Test drive them yourself at the eSmart Training and Tools Class.
Okay, we're back with Mark Chaffee with Taco. Mark's going to talk to us about some of the great design software and tools that Taco has available to us as a contractor. Mark?
So a lot of people, when they think about Taco, they think about pumps and valves and controls, but we do so much more. What our real goal is to work with folks like you to allow you to do your best work. And that means not only producing the highest quality products, but also all the design support. the training, the education, the online communities that we have. It's really starting from the very beginning of the process in putting together and giving you the free tools like our HSS design program, our Flow Pro Designer software, so you can lay out entire systems, make sure that they're going to work, size all the products, automatically select the different products, the systems, the tubing, everything about it. So you know going into the job exactly what you're using and how the job is going to perform.
Mark, my guys can't put your stuff in properly unless it's properly designed. If it's not designed properly, your stuff won't work properly. So that's an important tool that we use on a regular basis. I'll also add that you have the best trainer in the facility in John Barba in the industry. Talk about John for a minute.
Well, John Barber is an absolute asset for TACO. At our brand new Innovation and Development Center, the training that he does there, or out in the field. He's really an industry expert on complete systems, and he's a lot of fun to go to his classes. As you know, you've been up and seen him in action.
Absolutely, I've learned from the best over the years.
And this year, what we're also doing is we're launching Flow Pro University, which is really the commercial equivalent of what we've done with the Flow Pro and John Barber, and that's featuring Rich Medeiros, who just has incredible knowledge in complete system HVAC control. So everything that we've been doing on the residential side for training and education, we're now doing on the commercial side, and that's at the factory, and it's also online, where you can go to an online course and learn on topics at your own place, at your own pace. So your guys don't necessarily need to come to TACO. They can go on in the evening at your shop, get online, and go very, very in-depth on a lot of educational topics. And it's all part of what we're trying to do to allow you to do your best work.
Mark, how does a contractor get a hold of this great software? How do they access this great feature that you have?
Access is very easy. One, go to the TACO website, which we're premiering a brand new website. It's all new. It's graphic based. It looks great, has a lot of new features. And one of the new features on there is not only all this education and learning and additional content, but something we call Project Builder. So what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to take all of the specifications, the submittal data sheets, all the information you need for a job, collect it, tag it, and put it into one place and save that file right up on the website. So it's going to be a great way to speed up product selection, design, and document control, which we know is very important on any job.
Absolutely. Mark, talk about the neighborhood. What's the neighborhood, very briefly?
The neighborhood. The neighborhood is a place where the industry comes together to learn and interact with each other. What we wanted to create was a place where contractors could go to talk to each other, to learn, to have almost a private setting to create their own groups based on subject or topic. So if you're interested in plumbing, you could have a very specific plumbing group, a heating group, and we also have a lot of fun on there too. We have a lot of great interaction, and it's the place where you can go to watch all of John Barber's webinars, which is a great resource for learning and a little bit of fun. We always have to have a little bit of fun.
Well, Mark, I'll have to check it out. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.